The air crackles with ozone from the humming transmitter, a ghost in this reclaimed power substation. Dust motes dance in the single neon tube, casting a sickly green glow on hand-labeled vinyl records stacked beside the console. The room smells of stale coffee, hot metal, and the faint, sweet decay of time itself. Outside, the city breathes its usual, complex symphony of exhaust and distant sirens.
Black Star Pirate Radio.
Saracucho checks in at 71 degrees and clear. Winds are moving from the southeast at 5 miles per hour. A reel-to-reel stutters somewhere in the back room, then finds its groove. The board glows amber. We begin with a stark reminder of human dignity under duress. A 23-year-old woman says she was shackled, transferred, and mocked in ICE detention, ultimately giving in to deportation.
The concrete facts here expose a deep, systemic vulnerability. This young woman, a named individual, recounts being physically restrained and subjected to demeaning treatment by ICE personnel across multiple facilities, including one in Pearsall, Texas. The immediate consequence is not just her deportation, but a chilling effect on others seeking due process, reinforcing a power dynamic that favors coercion over consent in the immigration system. An alternative path would empower every detained individual with guaranteed immediate access to an independent legal advocate upon entry to any facility, ensuring their rights are clearly articulated before any processing.
This isn't just a procedural failure, it's a profound cultural erosion of provenance, stripping an individual of their very ground. The narrative echoes countless historical accounts where vulnerability is weaponized, where the other is reduced to a body to be processed. Who carries this next? Every community member who believes in the inherent dignity of a human being, regardless of their status, must hold up a mirror to these tactics, like the Know Your Rights pamphlets distributed by grassroots organizations in border towns.
To bend this system, we need a playable next step that isn't just reactive. Imagine a dignity audit protocol implemented at 3 specific ICE detention centers, perhaps in California, Arizona, and Florida, where independent, non-governmental observers conduct unannounced inspections weekly. If a single instance of documented abuse or coercion is found, that facility faces a daily operational fine of $10,000 until rectified, with funds directly supporting legal aid for detainees. This shifts the cost of non-compliance directly onto the system.
Patching in a caller, the skeptic. You're on the signal.
Skeptical precise. A dignity audit protocol. Sounds expensive and cumbersome. Who pays for these independent observers? And how do you ensure their neutrality? Are we just adding another layer of bureaucracy without addressing the root cause of illegal immigration or the safety concerns ICE is supposedly managing?
We have already run that tape. Here is the closed-loop takeaway.
The concrete facts show a significant lapse. An individual attempted to gain unauthorized access to the flight deck mid-flight, forcing United Airlines Flight 2609 to land early at General Mitchell International Airport in Milwaukee. This exposes critical vulnerabilities in current in-flight security protocols and the potential for a single individual to threaten hundreds of lives and millions in asset value. A viable alternative would be to deploy real-time biometric threat assessment systems at boarding gates, not just for identity verification, but to flag erratic behavioral patterns before an individual steps onto an aircraft.
This incident taps into a deep primal fear of vulnerability in confined spaces, much like the ancient tales of monsters in the dark. It challenges the collective trust we place in a modern system of air travel, transforming the cabin from a shared space into a potential stage for chaos. Who carries the burden of this fear? Every passenger now questions the invisible barriers designed to protect them, much like the post-9/11 security measures that are now ingrained in our travel rituals.
We can build a more resilient system than simply reacting. My playable next step is to implement a Crew Connect system, a discrete encrypted communication network allowing flight attendants to immediately and silently flag suspicious passenger behavior to ground security and the flight deck, using a simple code. This reduces visible confrontation and allows for preemptive, coordinated intervention upon landing, rather than relying solely on last-ditch physical struggle, starting with a pilot program across all United regional flights by next quarter.
Signal coming in.
Skeptical. Crew Connect. What about false positives? Are we turning flight attendants into amateur psychologists, flagging people for simply being anxious flyers? And won't this create a boy who cried wolf scenario, potentially overwhelming ground crews with non-threats and desensitizing them to actual dangers?
Caller, your concern about overflagging is valid. The Crew Connect system isn't about subjective psychology. It would leverage specific, predefined behavioral indicators developed with security and psychological experts, focusing on actions that meet a threshold of threat, not just anxiety. The system would also incorporate tiered response protocols, ensuring only verified, high-priority alerts reach ground crews, preventing desensitization. This moves beyond a reactive brawl into a proactive, discrete intelligence architecture that preserves the dignity of all passengers while enhancing security with sharp discernment. Our final vector tonight takes us into the wild world of animal welfare. A Miami zoo, owned by an ex-drug kingpin featured in Tiger King, is swarming with violations.
The concrete facts are alarming. Repeated USDA inspection reports document numerous animal welfare violations at Dade City's Wild Things, a facility tied to former drug trafficker Mario Tabrao, who gained notoriety on the Netflix series. This exposes a severe failure of regulatory oversight by the USDA and a profound ethical breach by the owner, leading to the suffering of exotic animals, from inadequate veterinary care to unsafe enclosures. A viable alternative would be the immediate and permanent revocation of operating licenses for any facility with
Black Star Pirate Radio.
Continue the signal at TogeeVision.com. Tune in, Sparks and Stories, Gig Passport.